What's good, Wagering World? It's your boy Five Star in Vegas, broadcasting live as always from beautiful Summerlin, Nevada. And here with my co-host, my guy, the only Sacramento Kings fan that I know, which is now becoming a great thing to be. What's up, Spread? How you this morning, man?
Hey, I think the Kings are like 6-2 over their last 8 after starting 0-3.
They have a squad. I bet them every night because the books have not caught up with them. Me and the clients had a money line last night against Golden State. It was such an easy read from what happened. Remember, we talked about what happened when they were in San Francisco. I knew that the Kings were going to come out to play and beat them this game. You guys have a hell of a roster, man. That's one of the deepest teams in the NBA right now. They did a good job of putting that roster together this time.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. And with a couple teams like Minnesota maybe falling out of the race, maybe Vivek will finally get his playoff spot. But we have plenty to talk about. Let's jump into the past, present, and future. Because before we jumped on, I had to thank you for all the college football winners you gave me on Saturday. This was just absolutely fantastic. I don't even know if we got anything wrong on that Friday show. The first one was East Carolina +5 at Cincinnati. What did you think of that one?
Easy one. We knew that East Carolina was going to ball, and they did. They did a really good job for us. Just a good, sound team, man. East Carolina has a great quarterback, like I told you, that we need to watch for was Adlers. He's going to end up playing on Sundays. Big, strong kid, left-handed, dynamic receiver. C.J. Johnson is so nice. The other receiver on the other side is really nice, too, number 11. I forgot his name, but once again, I told you they have a great running back. They got a lot of weapons over there, and they play defense. So East Carolina is the real deal, man, and I'm just glad that they were able to come through for us.
All right, the next one, Tennessee. You got a chance to, get right against Missouri. They laid 20.5. It's a ton of points, but they got it done. What were your thoughts there?
It was no sweat. Just like I told you, I know the way that Josh Heupel thinks. Josh Heupel is a mercenary, man, and right now, they're at a point where they need to impress the committee. They're worried about how the final score looks. He's worried about getting a cover also for his alumni members, because as you know, Tennessee has a deep alumni with a lot of deep pockets. As you saw in the fourth quarter, they were still chunking the ball. Missouri coach was pissed. They were still scoring with less than a minute left. They ended up putting that hanging. What did they hang on them? 62 again, I believe. 66 this time on them. So. Tennessee, man, continues to do his thing, and they're always a good bet anytime that they're playing anyone on the cover, man, because Josh Heupel I call him the no mercy balls. They don't have any mercy, man. They're going to keep trying to score until the clock runs out. They put up 17 points in the fourth quarter, 21-38 total in the second half. Just a good job and an easy bet.
All right, let's talk about LSU. Who took on Arkansas? What did you see in that game?
We didn't touch that. Remember, I told you I actually threw it on a parlay with a couple other guys' money line. It worked out perfectly for me. As I tweeted and I also told you personally, my good little buddy Malik Hornsby was the quarterback for Arkansas with KJ Jefferson out, and he's a good player, man. He's just as young. He isn't ready yet for aggressive defense like LSU. And how about Harold Perkins? He has to be the best outside linebacker in college football, and this kid is a true freshman. When I say I haven't seen anyone turn the corner like that besides like TJ Watt and Derek Thomas, he's amazing, man. He's one of those guys that if you don't account for, he's going to wreck your whole game plan. And him stepping up has been the difference with this LSU defense, man. He's a guy that you got to account for. So watch for Harold Perkins Jr. in the next coming years. He will be the #1 draft pick when he comes out of LSU in a couple years.
Oh, there we go. There's a hot take. Love to hear that. Maybe we'll get in on some action of that early. I didn't see this one, but Wisconsin played Iowa. Did you have eyes on that game, a Big Ten matchup?
Oh yeah, I had to. I had about 5 units on the Hawkeyes, and they were able to come through, man. Great job by Iowa. Just no one's going to beat Iowa at Iowa football, and Wisconsin plays the same type of football. The difference is that Iowa does this better and been doing it for a long time. You know, Wisconsin switches. Sometimes Wisconsin is a more offensive team. Sometimes they're a really sound defensive team. But Iowa's always played the same brand of football since Kirk Ferentz has been there. And that's we're going to pound the ball. We're going to run it. We're going to control it. And we're going to get turnovers with you with our defense. And we're going to stop you. And just a great job again by those kids. We get the straight out victory with them. They were plus 110 and plus 105. So another cash for us, man.
Yeah, I mean, it was just I can't believe how good the Saturday was. Maybe our best Saturday of the year. I'm not sure. We've had a couple huge ones, and this was
Of
definitely
this
one of
this
them.
year of this year for sure. This year for
Yeah.
sure.
We had one
Yeah.
other Saturday where I felt like we had almost every single one.
Yeah.
But I mean, the hits kept coming in. Washington took on Oregon. I saw some of that game. I know Washington got out to an early start. At one point, I thought they had a chance to win the game straight up, but I missed the end, right? Oregon, did they come back and get the win there? I know we covered.
No, no, no. I won that one money line plus
Did
600
did
and I got the plus
Washington
30.
win straight up?
Washington won the game straight up.
See, I knew we
Great,
were going to cover, so I flipped off it.
great game. Absolutely great game. As I told you, Michael Penix Jr., man, the quarterback for Washington, he's the real deal. One of the best lefty strokes we've seen at quarterback. He's so accurate. He always gets the ball to the squad. He keeps them in the game. And I told you he was going to be able to backdoor. But this time they actually started out pretty fast. They didn't allow Oregon to get up on them a lot. They had made Oregon have to play football the whole game and play from behind a lot. Then Oregon took the lead late. But what happened was after Oregon took the lead, Washington answers right back, and Penix hits a guy for like a 60-yard strike down the sidelines, and it's tied. Bo Nix gets hurt the previous series when they're able to hold Oregon to 3 points. So he sits out the next series, and they have to bring in the freshman Ty Thompson. And of course, he looked like a deer in headlights. So the Washington ends up getting 3 and out right off the field. Washington gets the ball back, drive down. Oregon plays its timeouts perfectly and get the ball back, but they're down 3 after the field goal by the Huskies. The Huskies kicker made a great kick, about 49-yarder. And after that, everyone thought that Oregon was going to be able to come back. They end up where Bo Nix comes in injured, drives them down into range for the field goal, but they missed it. So Washington gets this straight out for us, man. Just a huge victory. I caught them right on time in the fourth quarter. I was in Caesars, and I got them for like plus 525 live. I just threw $100 on them, but I was like, man, these guys might win this game. They were only down 7. There was plenty of time left, and they had been moving the ball. So as you know, we had the 13 and a half, and we gave that one out as well. So another winner, man.
Yeah, it was just a fantastic Saturday. Another one, easy winner. Florida State took on Syracuse. I didn't really watch. I mean, we were up 14-3 early. They just kept scoring.
Yeah.
Syracuse couldn't move the ball. And I love it. Dude, you know how many games we sweated this year? I'm fine.
Right.
I'm fine flipping off these games, checking out my NBA and knowing I got some college football cash in my pocket. How much of that game did you watch? And I know we had to be
not much at all. Not much at all.
Yeah.
Not much at all. Only thing I did, I watched the first quarter. No, the first half. When we were 24-3, I knew we were good because Jordan Travis was dominating the game at quarterback. They didn't have any answer for him. They could not match him because Syracuse, once again, as I told you, is struggling really bad at quarterback. I do not know what happened with Garrett Strader. In my opinion, I think that he did something that Dino Babers did not like. I don't think the concussion stuff is what's really going on. I think, and I'll talk to you about it off camera because I don't want to put that out there on the kid, but I think some other stuff went on, some more dubious things with that kid, and I don't think Babers is going to play him the rest of the year, honestly. But we were able to be on the right side of that because we're just in tune with what's going on with college football. That's what I do. And I knew this would be a layup. Florida State ran off on them. Florida State is a really good team, man. They got a lot of weapons and they got a lot of good defenders. They're trouble.
All right. It was a great Saturday. And, you know, the action started early for us on Sunday morning. I was up watching it.
Me too.
You know, and hey, Tom Brady played well. Seahawks got off to a slow start and they had a turnover in the red zone with Geno Smith fumbling that I thought kind of put them a little bit behind. They had a chance to come back, but it felt that turnover in the red zone. I think that was in the third quarter. It was just too much for this team to overcome after the slow start. So in an NFC South where no one really wants to win it, the Bucs seem to have taken control. What were your thoughts as you watched the NFL's first game in Germany?
I thought that Ski was right on point when he was on here Friday when he said that Tom Brady was turning a corner because he did look a lot freer. He played a lot better in this game. The Seahawks gave them the game. The Seahawks could have very easily won this game. They had the better team offensively, at least. It's just that one turnover by Geno, and it was eating him up on the sidelines. You could tell he was really upset about what happened. He had a fumble, and they never recovered from that. If he doesn't fumble that ball, they probably win the game straight up because their offense is dynamic, man. They got some really good weapons on offense in Seattle. Um, they're really deep at wide receiver, and even they have the guy that came over from Texas, Marquise Goodwin. Marquise Goodwin is even balling. Like their receiver room is outstanding in Seattle. And Geno just had a bad moment. They were able to strip him. He fumbled the ball, and they never recovered. And we didn't get the cover on this one. This one right here, Ski was right on, and we were wrong on because I took Seattle.
Yeah, well, we'll give Ski his props. I was on Seattle too, but you
Yeah.
can't win them all. This felt like the only one.
Right.
So so then we took it out there, but then the winning just kept continuing. And I told you before the show, so underdogs have been winning at like 57, 58%, right? And we talked about this on the show before. Hey, you can see the public at 80%, but sometimes the money's even, right? Because everyone bets on the favorites, $20 at a time, and then guys come in at 4 or 5K on these underdogs. And with these underdogs cashing, I think the books were taking liability against the big limit bettors, and they're setting these favorites too low this week. And I just felt there was multiple games. This game, I projected it at 7. It was 3.5. It's weird for me to have that big an edge in the NFL. 1 or 2 points is what I'm usually landing on, right?
Right.
And it just the Browns, they just got blown out by the Miami Dolphins. This offense is just too much, and I don't understand why people thought that Cleveland was going to be able to keep it close against this. This offense is like a Ferrari right now. I mean, it's just absolutely humming. Another easy cash for the team. What did you see? I mean, to me, this was just complete domination.
Yeah, I told you it was no way. As long as the money stayed about even, that I was taking the Browns. I'm on the Dolphins mostly against anybody in the NFL that they play, strictly because they're going to be very difficult to cover against because they have the best receiving core in the league, and they have a very accurate quarterback too. Has settled all the way down. He's a good pro. His body seems like it's holding up now. If he can just stay clean, and they can, he's starting to understand. And Mike McDaniels is probably telling them this: get off the ball. Don't try to scramble. Don't try all this run. You're Drew Brees. You're not this athletic guy like you were before your injuries. Now you have to use your pinpoint, precise passing, which we know how accurate that guy is. He might throw the most accurate ball on that sets up yards after catch in the league. He reminds me of how Joe Montana used to always hit the Niners right in stride, where they can keep running. They never have to turn back to the side. They never have to stop. Tua's a good player, man. He's becoming that point guard distributor that I knew he could be in the NFL. I only worried about his body. I was never worried about whether he could play. And just a great job by the Dolphins front office of building a squad around him, man. And now they added the running back from the 49ers, and he's a real beast, as you know. He's running for 100 yards a game since he's been there. And like I said, the best 2 receivers in the league. And I'm glad that you said this game right after Geno, because it makes a great point that I tried to put out to people on Twitter. Geno Smith, Tua are great examples of how these kids have the best talent coming in from college. Some of them are the best player by far, as Geno and Tua was in college. Then they get to the NFL and everyone's like, oh, he's a bust. No, it's coaching. Coaching is the major problem that we have in all sports, and especially in the National Football League and in college football. A lot of these guys get jobs from the buddy system, from their last name, from people that they know, and they can't coach. And they get these guys with all this talent and make them lose all their confidence simply because their inability to call plays, their inability to develop. And I really am thrilled for Geno Smith and for Tua Tagovailoa that they finally have the guys in the building and they have their right opportunities to really show their talents to the world.
Yeah, and that was just another easy cash. And it just felt like I said, with the NFL, I mean, with the books paying out on all these underdogs all season long, these prices were too low. The Texans, we've talked about this team before and the issues. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. We have a Houston team. They can't stop the run. We have the Giants coming off a bye. And I don't want to say who's the best running back in the league because you can argue and you can. Top 5 in the league. Saquon Barkley, one of the most explosive players in the league. What do we think is going to happen when one of the best rushing attacks goes against one of the worst rush defenses? It was
Right.
just fairly easy. And I know Houston made a little push at the end there towards the cover, but I was watching, and at no point did I ever really feel like they had a chance to get the cover. Now, if this game was 7 or 7.5, like it should have been, like I projected it, the cover would
Yeah.
have been sweaty. But at
Right.
4.5, I think people were getting cute because they've been cashing with underdogs all year, and I think these lines were too low this week. So Houston probably going to be there in the top quarterback race next year, but they have a lot on that roster that they need to refuel, and some of that is in that front seven of that defense too. What do you think?
Easy cover for us. There's no way that I'm going to ever take the Texans in any game. If the numbers ridiculous, then I'll consider. But anytime it's under 6 points, I'm going with the better team. I'm going with the better coaching staff. I'm going with the team with the better quarterback. Simple as that. Davis Mills did a pretty good job yesterday. He wasn't as pedestrian as he usually is, but um, overall, and that's because Brandon Cooks came back. Brandon Cooks is a huge factor for this team, and Brandon Cooks is a good player. That's why he was pissed and didn't want to play the last game, because he was like, "You guys said you were going to trade me." He wanted to go somewhere where he had a chance to get in the playoffs to win a Super Bowl. And how can you knock the guy? I mean, Brandon Cooks has been a good player for them for a while. He says he's been over there. He's given his all. He wants to go somewhere where he has a chance to win. He's getting older in his career. He doesn't want to, be in a rebuilding process. They should have gotten off of him and allowed Nico Collins to be the number one, because Nico Collins is a good player, and we're going to see him pop when they get the right quarterback in there, and that's probably going to be Bryce Young. That's who I'm thinking the Texans are going to take. It's a lot of noise from the fans that that's the guy, and I believe that's the guy for them. I'm still trying to figure out how the hell Will Levis' name is out there, as you saw this weekend with him losing to Vanderbilt at home. But Bryce Young is a magician, and when he gets to Houston, the Texans are going to turn around fairly quick. Remember, I told you that.
All right. Yeah, can't wait to see that. And there's another division that's up for the taking. South may be running the college football world, but the AFC South and the NFC South have some
Oh
work to
God,
do right
yeah,
now in the National Football League. But if there's one thing we know about the NFL, and I think why it's the most popular sport in America right now, it's the easiest sport to turn your team around in, right?
yep,
No one goes from
yep,
worst to first in the NBA, but
nope,
it seems to happen every year in one NFL division. Speaking of going from, worst to at least something, the Packers not only covered the spread, they got the win. I was getting wary of this because I didn't bet it because I like the Cowboys, but everybody liked the Cowboys, and we know that's just not how the NFL works.
yep,
It was a tough game. I was fine staying on the sidelines, and I'll be honest, I was rooting for the old man there, right? The old man from Northern
yep,
California, right? I didn't have any
yep,
money on it because I just knew this is tough. And then I know the Cowboys are a tough team, and they run the football and they rest the passer with a great defensive line, but it's still a dome team going outdoors. And as this gets colder, I think Green Bay is going to go to the type of team they should be. Forget about who the quarterback is, right? Take the name off. You play in a place that's freezing almost every week. You've got a great run game. Just run the football. Still, their ability to stop the run was an issue, and they could have lost this game because of it. Regardless, the Packers finally get a win. They have to be feeling good, and they're going to be one of that teams. If they get hot over, the last 7-8 weeks of the season, whatever we have left, no one's going to want to play them in the playoffs.
yep.
So Packers get the straight up win as well as the cover against the Cowboys. I wasn't necessarily ready to downgrade the Cowboys off this loss, but I will be upgrading the Packers a bit in my power rankings this week.
Right before kickoff, I went and took the Packers. I remember we spoke about this at the show, where I threw it up for you and Ski, and you guys said the same thing: Cowboys, Cowboys. And I said, man, it's a lot of public. If right before the game, if this game gets too much public on Dallas, I'm going with Green Bay. I took Green Bay, and at the beginning I was sick. I was like, I can't believe I switched and took Green Bay.
Yeah.
Remember they turned the ball over early, but their defense clapped right back and picked Dak off, and that was the difference. That's what's got them back in the game. Then they go down 28-14, show more resilience, and come back from that. This was a big game for LaFleur and those guys. LaFleur took it back to his Tennessee formula, and that's all he has to do. Run Aaron Jones, man. What are you doing? Run. You got two of the best running backs in the league on the same team. Run. A.J. Dillon pounds you. Then you got Jones, who's just electric, and he's fearless, man. He's coming through the hole going 100 miles an hour, So if they can get Christian Watkins, who's a young kid, He's a rookie, but if he can step up like he did yesterday, play with confidence, dude, you can play. I watched him at North Dakota State dominate. Um, this kid is strong. He's fast. He's a playmaker. In North Dakota State, they used to run all types of reverses and run plays for him as well and get him the ball because he's really fast. He's been dealing with injuries. If he can get himself together, if they can get Romeo Dobbs back, who's another good rookie receiver, really Green Bay's like a year away. Next year, they're going to be really good because their whole defense is coming back. I don't see them losing anyone in free agency. They just re-signed their corner not too long ago, so they should be good on that. But their receiving room is not bad as it looks right now. They're just young. The two guys that they have that are kids, Dobbs and Watkins, can both be really good players in this league. And you know that A-Rod can still spin it. You like, no one doubts that. Did you see that throw out the play action? Great call by LaFleur that got him back in the game. It was like 3rd and 1 or 2nd and 1. They go play action, and he throws just a lollipop over the top to Watkins, hits him right in stride, for the touchdown. So great job. I'm glad that I rethought that. I'm glad that I asked questions, and I'm glad that I followed my first mind and took Green Bay on this game because I'm like, Green Bay's at home, Lambeau Field. They're going to be up for the Cowboys, and that defense came to play. They withstood that great running game by the Cowboys and were able to turn over Dak a couple times. And going forward, I still say I don't know if Dak is the guy. I don't know if he's the guy to get them over the hump. He's another one of those Cowboy quarterbacks that fits in that little lane to me with Tony Romo, Danny White. They're the guys who, they're really good. They tease you, but they can never get it done. And I think Dak is one of those guys as well.
Yeah, and we'll see because obviously a lot of questions will be answered because regardless of the loss, I still think the Cowboys have a great chance to make the playoffs, and there's certain teams that they match up really well against.
I got to hear your thoughts. Did you watch Buffalo and Minnesota?
Of course. That was the game
what
of
the,
I mean,
game.
That was in the game of the year. I mean,
what a game.
Allen fumbled. I couldn't believe it. I'm sitting there like wide-eyed. And then I thought that he was going to come back there at overtime. Patrick Peterson gets his second interception. And another one. Hey, I'm not necessarily ready to downgrade Buffalo. I do want to see how Allen handles this injury. I thought that he looked pretty good yesterday.
He looked okay.
And I love that he just switches into running mode when he needs to. Maybe get a little smarter with that. But I did upgrade Minnesota. Now, I know everyone just keeps saying, well, they get lucky. They get lucky. And I understand. You could say they got lucky again yesterday, but they're 8-1.
That's not luck.
Yeah. And Kirk Cousins, when they give him time, he's getting it in there. Justin Jefferson, I think you said it, best receiver in the NFL. Was that you?
Not only did he bring the gritty to the game of football.
Yeah, I saw that.
He's the best wide receiver, hands down. Cooper Kupp is a beast. Don't get me wrong, but he's a system player. He plays within the system. When it comes down to him, he can't make those type of plays that Justin Jefferson made, where you just throw the ball up like he tells Kirk in the huddle, "Hey, just throw it up. I'm going to catch it. I got you." And he throws it up, and he's going to make a play. Did you see that catch that he made, man?
On 4th and 18. It's the best catch we've seen since Odell made that catch on Monday Night Football. Yeah.
Come on, man. That's just will and competitiveness, man. And that guy is number one. I'm an LSU guy, and he never got the love he deserved when he was at LSU when our offense was jumping. We had so much talent around him, as you see by all of how these guys are performing in the NFL, even on defense, that this guy is just, one of those guys, man. And I sat back yesterday watching this game, and I thought about it, and I was like, man, Justin Jefferson has really changed the game of football. He brought the gritty, and his play is also, now he told everyone last year he was the best receiver in the league. He's put in the work, and he shows you that he is, man. He has the most competitive spirit at the wide out, along with the talent to go with it, man. Right now, he's leaps and bounds over Devontae Adams because we know what's going on over there with your Raiders. So, hey, man, he's number one in the league. Watch Minnesota. Dalvin Cook is still a beast. That's the only thing I have with their coach, O'Connell. He needs to feed Dalvin Cook more and take a little pressure off of Kirk Cousins. I know he likes to throw the ball around. He comes from the Rams. I know he had Cooper Kupp. That's why we knew Justin Jefferson was going to have a big season this year because he likes to feed his wide receiver one. Don't forget about Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook had a big run yesterday that kept them in the game. He broke one when they were down about, I think, 10 points or so, and he broke a 60-yard touchdown. get about a Dalvin Cook, and you guys are going to have a lot of success in Minnesota. But I just had to touch that game real quick. That's the best game of the season.
Yeah, I was actually surprised we didn't have it there on the sheet, but
That's my bad. Yeah.
We'll probably be talking about it on Thursday as well because that's how exciting that it was. Give me the quick victory. I gave you the Grizzlies over the T-Wolves.
Good job.
The Grizzlies are a solid team. The T-Wolves are just a fade right now. Will they get it together? I'm not sure, but what I'm seeing on the court right now, Gobert's not fitting in, and a big part of the reason I love the T-Wolves going into the season is I expected Ant to continue to improve. Not saying that he's bad, but he hasn't necessarily stepped up to be that top 10 player that I expected. So, hey, a lot going on there in Minnesota, and we're going to continue to fade them until they get this thing right. I'm not ready to write this team off and say they're out of, the NBA playoff push, but it's not a good start for a team with high expectations. Grizzlies continue to win no matter the circumstances. You love their coach, Taylor Jenkins, and I can't argue with you there. So that was an easy win, and we'll continue to pick spots like that. Giving you guys out winners for the NBA. That's how I do it. And one thing about the NBA, there's a lot. It can get confusing, but if you're selective, people won't bet the NBA, but I will. If you're selective, you can win. Let's move into the present because we have plenty to talk about tonight. Once again, the Eagles are on national TV, and why not? This team's still undefeated. Once again, they're laying double digits, this time to the Washington Commanders. Oh, man, I hate laying double digits. These is primetime games on Monday night. I kind of just been betting the under and moving away from it. I think you spent more time breaking down this game than I have, though. What are your thoughts for tonight?
It's going to be a tight one, about even on the money. We know that the Eagles have the better team, but we also know that the Eagles like to start fast. I haven't checked the weather yet. I don't know how the weather's going to be tonight in Philly, but what I do know is that I like Jalen Hurts over Taylor Heineke, facing the defense that they're going to face. So with me on this game, honestly, I lean Eagles, but I won't say it's a play yet. I'm just going to say it's a lean. I definitely lean Eagles.
All right, leaning towards the Eagles. If you get a play, end up sending it to me. I'm fine staying off this game. But if you find an edge, I know you're going to spend more time on it this afternoon.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm just going to do my NBA. I've been doing great there, and I have a 7-game slate there that I intend to make money on. Oral Roberts is playing the Houston Cougars.
Yeah.
Houston's number 3 in the nation right now. They're 2-0, and they've won by 50 and 30 so far.
Yeah.
And tonight they're laying 20, right? So you say 20 points, that's a big spread. Well, not when their combined margin of victory is 90 points in 2 games this year, right? They're winning by an average of more than 40 points per game. Do we go back to the Houston tonight? So I know Houston's good. I have no idea what's going on with Oral Roberts. How do we approach this game?
We definitely on the Cougs tonight, man. The Cougs double-digit spreads is a normal thing for them. 20-point spreads is a normal thing for them. This is the Cougar Classic, which means they're going to be playing right home in Houston. Expect them to smoke Oral Roberts. I seen Oral Roberts. They did a really good job of fighting back against a really sound St. Mary's team. St. Mary's was up on them 20 in the first half, and they ended up getting it down to 8 before the game was over. But you don't want to mess with this Houston team, man. You don't want them. They're one of the best cover teams you're going to find in basketball. They've covered the last 8 out of 9 games that they played. They're 14 out of the last 16 on cover. So they just do a great job of mixing great defense with great shooting. And I just expect them to roll tonight. So that will be definitely one of my plays. I'll be on Houston. And Houston has such a dynamic backcourt. A lot of veterans, guys who've been there forever, like Sasser and Sheed, Marks. And then they just added a kid who's going to be a real star in college basketball from Florida. And this kid here is 6'8", 6'9", stocky, but can still stroke the 3 like he's a guard, plays great defense. Take the Cougs tonight. We on the Cougs minus 19.5. I expect a 20-point victory.
All right, so we expect Houston to get the blowout, and that's one thing about college basketball. It's not like the pros. The talent disparity can be pretty large at times. Let's talk about Kentucky versus Michigan State. Now, that's tomorrow night, right?
Yes, for tomorrow night.
Okay, what's going on there? We
don't have a number up on it yet, but when the number does come up, I'll be taking Michigan State. Michigan State has a veteran team. They've added some big guys. I'm sure they'll be getting points. I don't know. Are you showing a line at all yet? I can't find the line yet.
I haven't seen the line for that game yet either. But I
Okay,
don't do
but
as
when
much
it
college
comes up,
football.
Kentucky will be favored. Kentucky
Okay.
will be favored, but they have a whole bunch of, as always, diaper dandies, young kids who this is their first time playing in these type of games. There are a lot of talent and all of these type of things, but they're lumped together. Whereas in Izzo has a squad of, like always, the top Michigan guys that's from around this area, but he has his guards are back, like Hogg and things like that. They're coming back. Walker's back. I really like the core. They should have beat Gonzaga, and they're going to be really fired up against Kentucky. So take Michigan State, whatever the points is, take the points with Michigan State when it comes up. We're recording this on Monday. The game's for Tuesday, but it's going to be the State Farm Champions Classic, which is going to be an outstanding college basketball tournament. So we're going to be on Michigan State in the points, guys, whichever the points you can find for it. I'm guessing 6 or 7 is going to probably be the line. 5, somewhere between 5 and 6, I'm guessing.
All right, let's do that. Duke and Kansas are also 2 blue bloods playing tomorrow night. 2 storied programs. What to expect in this one?
This is another one where you got guys that have been around, a couple guys who are returning against a whole bunch of guys who went behind the ears. I'm going with Kansas on this one. This one might be a pick 'em. So regardless of what, I like Kansas and the way the Self runs his program. I think he might not even coach this game. He might be suspended because he had some stuff going on. It doesn't matter because his assistants will have the game plan from him, and he'll have the squad that'll be ready for this game. So we're going to roll with Kansas on this game.
All right, 5-star. You've been crushing Saturdays, but another college football day you've been crushing is Tuesday.
Yes.
With the action. Let's keep the winning going. Is this a tough game to handicap? I see Ohio's -4. They're at Ball State. What do we do here?
This was going to be tough. It's going to be snowing outside. Ball State is a really good team. You know, we bet with them a couple straight weeks. They're really well coached. They have a great running back in Steele. He reminds you of John Riggins, just a cocky kid that's just strong and fast and runs hard. So Ball State is going to be in, but the problem is going to be quarterback play. You know, I'm a huge fan of Ohio's quarterback, Curtis Rourke, man. And as long as the wind's not affecting it, I don't think you'll have problems throwing the ball in the snow, because I think it's going to be just a cold day with a little flurries, but I don't think the wind's involved. If the wind's not involved, Ohio's offense is a little bit too dynamic for Ball State. So I can't go against Curtis Rourke. They're trying to win the MAC. They're trying to win their side of the conference. Them and Toledo trying to match each other up in the MAC championship game because they're the 2 best teams. So I like Ohio to cover that -3.5. You could buy half a point and take it down to 3.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and put that one in right now. And then the last one for that one, we're safe for the Ball and Parlay. So let's move to the future. And I'm pretty happy about a pick that I gave out earlier this year, and that's the Milwaukee Bucks to go over their win total. They're 10-1 right now, heading into their matchup with the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks, the only team to beat them this year. Let's see if they'll get back. Chris Middleton's still out. I don't think Drew Holiday's going to play either, but this team still keeps winning, even with their stars out of the lineup. It's a well-coached team. So I'm pretty happy to be on that Bucks ticket when, certain big teams, right, like the Warriors are treating this like preseason. The Bucks are pretty pissed off last year. They seem to be all engines go right now. So we're fading the Minnesota Timberwolves. There's another Northern team that's the exact opposite. That's the Milwaukee Bucks. We are going to continue to back this team. Kick the damn extra point. Did you want to give out a belated reward? Because I know we meant to do this Friday and we did not.
We did not get a chance to get to this guy. We got to give it out to Clay Hill. I see exactly the reason why USC got rid of this guy. We could have easily covered with Georgia Southern, but it was simply due to his ineptness at calling plays. You have a great quarterback in Van Treese. You have all types of weapons, 2 receivers on the outside that's over 6'4", and he just continued to call the dumbest plays. He gets this strictly for one play call. He did a lot of crazy stuff during the game, but the biggest one was this. It's 4th and inches, and this guy runs a wide receiver reverse. That is the silliest, worst call I've ever seen in my life in college football. Everyone knows that. What's the way you stop a reverse? Penetration. on 4th and inches, everyone's firing off the ball. The defensive tackles, everyone is low and they're trying to get into the backfield. And you run a fake dive, reverse, and the guy loses like 20 yards. Just an imbecile. As a whole, just a poor coaching job by Clay Helton. He cost us the cover. And also, I got to throw your boy in here again. This is like the 6th straight week that 2 coaches from the NFL got to get mentioned in here. And that's, of course, Josh McDaniels. What the hell are you doing over there with the Raiders? And Dennis Allen, what the hell are you doing with the Saints? All 3 of you guys, kick the damn extra point.
All right. Yeah, I was going to say, we got to throw Josh McDaniels in there. You reminded me of that because he gave Devontae Adams a reverse 2 weeks ago on a 4th down play call. Hey, when you run a reverse, don't give it to the guy that the whole defense is keying on. You don't think on 4th down they're not like give it to the speedster that nobody cares about. I mean, some of these coaches, and boy, McDaniels, he deserves it this week too because, bro, Jeff Saturday just flew in from Connecticut. He took
coaching high school.
Yeah, he took the makeup off. ESPN walked out there and beat you when you're supposed to be this offensive genius. Boy, I know teams like continuity. I'm wearing my Raiders stuff, but hey, this guy might be one and done. Terrible things going on in Las Vegas. So,
Dennis Allen is still trotting out Andy Dalton.
Yeah. So a lot of bad coaching decisions, but guess what? That makes for great content here on the Wagering World. Let's move into the Ball and Parlay, and I'm going to start with you, Bowling Green at Toledo.
Hey, man, Mac action makes it happen. We love the Mac. That's my favorite thing. We only lost 1 game this year. Right now, we're 8-1 on the Mac plays, and we're going to keep running it up over the last 2-3 years. We're over 80% on Mac football on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and this is another one you can pencil it in, man. We're going with Toledo. They're at the Glass Bowl. They're -15. I know you said that's a large number, but no, it isn't. Not with the way this team plays defense, and they're going to be able to shut down this Bowling Green offense. The Bowling Green offense is just it's good, but it doesn't have enough pop. They have to have long drives in order to score. Everything is dink and dunk. They only put up 6 points last week against a Kent State team that isn't that good on defense. Whereas you're dealing with a Toledo defense that's 32nd ranked in total yards. They're holding the teams to about 300 yards per game. They're number 14 against the pass. This team is really good, and they're top 50 in turnovers. They're just a really sound team. Then they average 35 points a game. They just got back their star quarterback. Everyone's saying he's going to Ohio State next year because I guess they're trying to get their recruiting stuff started already with the Ohio State alum. Boy, I tell you, it's something else with these alumni. Some of these guys are really obsessed with their football teams, and they're already clamoring for DeQuan Finn to leave Toledo and come to Ohio State after C.J. Stroud just. But DeQuan Finn is the real deal. Last week was his first game back after missing a week due to a head injury. He looked a little like, rusty, but this guy can really throw it, especially deep balls. He's one of those guys who throws a really high, pretty Russell Wilson style deep ball, and he has all those speedy receivers that can go get it. Last week they had a down day on offense. They only put up 28 points against Ball State. They struggled the whole game at home. I expect some real get right this game when they go against Bowling Green. They've dominated Bowling Green in the past. They won last year 49-17. The year before that 38-3. I just see them stomping them again as they prepare to go to the MAC championship and face either Ohio or Ball State. So take Toledo, lay the -15. They'll win by at least 20.
All right, and I'm going to go prop tonight. I'm going with Jaden Ivey over 17.5 points. Cade Cunningham continues to be out for Detroit, and if you watch this offense, there's one guy that can create his own shot now, right? And that was why Cade, they wanted to add Jaden Ivey as another creator, right? But he's really the only one that can't get like a non-system bucket, right? You can run screens for the other guys, you can run post plays, double drags, but the only one that can just take the ball and beat his man off the dribble, and he doesn't even need a switch. I mean, this kid's explosive. Already looks to be one of the fastest players in the NBA. Kind of reminds me of our guy, De'Aaron Fox, just with his ability to get that first step. And without Cade out there, I mean, he hit 26 without Cade. in the loss to the Celtics the other night, and I think that he's just going to continue to have opportunities. And you know how it is when no one on your teammates is going to get mad when they can't beat their guy off the dribble. I mean, what are they going to do? Have Bojan Bogdanovic try and break guys down off the dribble?
Sadiq Bey.
Yeah, and these are good players. I think they're good. If you have two creators, you need guys like Sadiq Bey and Bogdanovic. But now
I don't like Bey.
Really?
I don't like Bey. No.
I like him as just the 3-and-D role, right? Your fourth and fifth option. He's going to give you good defense, and he'll knock down the open three, and he should give you guys. Your guys should be able to sag off him. That's what I do like about Sadiq Bey. But yeah, I don't want him with the ball with 5 seconds to go in the shot clock. But Jaden Ivey can still get to the rim. So you're going to take Toledo -15. I'm going with NBA tonight. Jaden Ivey over 17.5 points. And let's see how high they're going to ride this prop. But as long as Cade's out, I think this is going to be money. So I'm going with Jaden Ivey there. There you have it. Quick show today, but we got you plenty of winners in the time that we did it here. So I'm glad we were able to knock this out this morning, 5-star. We'll be back on Thursday. I've got a bunch of bets in my bet stuff already, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, and you guys follow my guy Spread at Spread Astaire, and you follow me at 5-star in Vegas. I will be giving out these MAC games over my Twitter, and I'll give out the Wednesday MAC games for free over Twitter. We're scheduling now. We'll be back on Thursday. We're doing Monday, Thursdays, and Fridays, and as you see, guys, I'm getting up the shows as early as possible now so you guys can catch the plays. Also, I do have a lean on the Eagles game, but I have to do a little bit more research on a couple things, and after I get the exact play, you guys go to the Twitter and you'll see that I posted, and I'll send it over there to you too, Spread. We appreciate you guys for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys on Thursday. Best of luck to you all.